Welcome to the third video of the series, Chinese Made Simple. Today we'll be featuring verbs after our nouns from the previous video. We'll begin with teaching common verbs because, as in English, there are simply too many verbs to cover them all, and will take, frankly, a long time. We'll begin with these two verbs, 走 with the third tone over O, and 跳 with the fourth tone over A. 走 means walk, and 跳 means jump. Notice that the left part of 跳 which means foot by itself. In the future, we'll be seeing a lot of this character on the left side of other characters in the future, as with something to do with foot. Other verbs or other nouns or adjectives you will see in the future with this character, foot, will be used to denote something to do with foot, as in jumping or jump requires the foot. So will other characters with this character, be related to actions with the foot. Moving on to words with feeling. I with the fourth tone over A, which means love, and 恨 with the fourth tone over E, which means its opposite, hate. Notice that both have a simplified or a form of heart inside its character. This means heart in Chinese. Similarly, it can be noted this way, as in 恨. As a result, they are called verbs, feeling verbs. In the future, words that contains either this form or its other commonly form, this form, will be associated with feelings or feelings of the heart. I'm moving on to a very commonly used word, 是. As in Chinese, the B word is a very significant part of the writing. The B word is denoted, or more commonly denoted as, is, are, or am. As in English, this word represents a significant part of our essay writing. And after the B word, we will move on to the speaking words. The speaking verbs includes 说, which means speak, or 叫, which means shout. Notice on the left side of 说, this character by itself denotes word. And as in speaking, you'll require the use of word. So other characters with this character will be used to denote something to do with language. And in this word, 叫, again with the left side of its character, it is comprised of this oddly looking box, which in Chinese means mouth. As in shouting, you'll require the use of mouth, and that is where it gets its components from. In Chinese, Some verbs, as in nouns, may be comprised of more than one character, as in this one, 希望. 希 of the first tone and 望 of the fourth tone. Together, they denote one single definition, hope. And its opposite, or seemingly opposite, 失望. Notice that a change of only one word inside this phrase creates a different meaning, where this means to disappoint. 失 first and 望 fourth tone, which means disappoint. Notice that the second word, 望, is the same for 失望 and 希望. A change of one word from 希 to 失 makes two different meanings, one of hope and another disappoint. Other verbs in Chinese includes two words used consequentially that are the same. In this one, 听听, which means listen. Alone 听 means listen. And 看看, both of the fourth tone, watch. Similarly to 听, 看 by itself means to watch as well. So why does Chinese have two words that are essentially the same, but written twice, if it means the same thing when written once? The difference is that 看看 or 听听 represents some of the unique verbs that can be used with the same word sequentially. And 听听, in contrast to only 听, represents a much hesitant manner in listening. So a person who 听 or listen is more certain of performing the action of listening compared to a person who uses 他听听 or he listens. To provide the example, 看 看 by itself is to watch. A person performing the watching is more certain when the sentence is only use one 看, in contrast to using two 看 or 看看. Having covered the different forms of verbs, the action verbs, 走 跳, the feeling verbs, 爱 恨, the B word, 是, the speaking verbs, 说 叫. Verbs with two characters, 希望 and 失望. And verbs that have the same character for two, or used both sequentially, 听听 and 看看. We'll move on to tenses of verbs. As we learned just previously, 听 means listen. However, by adding a single word, 仄, to 听, it denotes be listening, or as is more commonly used, is are or am listening. By adding the to ting, it means that it forms a gerund of ting, or is listening, a gerund of listening. It is the continuous form. Providing another example using another word we just previously learned, kan, which means watch. Adding the behind kan means watching, is watching, or be watching. This means that the action is still continuing into the present and it is in the present continuous form. And to learn another tense, the past tense. Again, we use the word listen, ting. However, we add a different word to ting this time, 过. By adding 过, it means past tense or present perfect tense. Have listened or simply listened. It means that this action has occurred in the future and may or may not be occurring in the present and as well in the future. Similarly, for another word or another verb we have just learned, kan. Adding 过 behind kan makes the action of watch in the past tense or in the present perfect tense and an action of the past. By adding 过 to kan, watch becomes have watched or watched. In this lesson, we learned that there are a variety of verbs in English, including action, feeling, to list some of them. Action verbs include 走 and 跳, while feeling verbs include I and 恨. As in English, one of the most important verbs, be, or as is more widely known, is are and am, is equivalent to the word 是 in Chinese. Verbs can be formed with more than one characters with different characters, as an example of 希望, or with the same characters, 听听. Adding the word the after verb makes it a gerund, or in the present continuous tense, while adding a word 过 in the same manner makes the verb into the past tense or the present perfect tense. Thank you for watching.